Morning, JMC3 here, and how about those Giants? Whew, they destroyed the Patriots. I mean, destroyed them. It was embarrassing. I mean, during the second half, did they really have to bring in Lawrence Taylor out of retirement just to, have him run for 2 touchdowns just to prove a point? Did they really have to do that? Oh, wait a minute. It's only the third. My bad. No, sorry. I'll replay this after Sunday. You'll understand. Okay. Now I was struggling with this because these blades have been reviewed so much it's kind of ridiculous now. But a lot of my guys who subscribe to me are actually relatives. At least I would hope they're relatives. I mean, I told them all to subscribe. And they know I'm a knife guy. My older brother's into knives, but the rest of us, we may have a knife or 2 or 5, but we're not really considered collectors. We're just novice in the knife game. But I put some of these out for them, so a lot of my terms are layman terms and just novice terminology, but mostly it has to do with how a blade feels to me. That's how come my reviews are not as technical and more feel. How they feel in the pocket, how they feel in the hand, how they feel when I'm using them. So I figured, why let this blade be any different, since I liked it so much I went out and bought 2. So before you have the CRKT, a Kin Onion design, CRKT Shenanigan. Now, right off the bat, both of these blades, the PPS version, which is considered the budget version of the 2, and the aluminum handle version, they both have 3 1/4 inch blade. And of course, Kin Onion has what I call like a water flow to his designs. I mean, there's not a straight curve, there's not a straight line in any of his blades. It's all just beautiful flowing water, the way I look at it. Modified drop point with a slight recurve, which gives it a beautiful belly for cutting. And you got that nice Kin Onion swedge at the top, which gives it a beautiful sturdy feel to it. At least when I look at the blade, it kind of gives me the image of strength. Now, like I said, both 3 1/4, and this is the serrated version, the partially serrated version. I'm not sure how many of you feel about serrations or CRK Kin Onion's serrations. And for those of you that don't know, Kin Onion, he designs a lot of blades. Well, he works with Kershaw a lot. The Kershaw carries a lot of his designs. And once you've had or bought several of Kin Onion design knives, you know what's ahead. I mean, because a lot of his designs have the curvature. His blade designs are very similar with the recurve, the flow, the swedge. And all of his blades, at least to me, have a comfort feel to it, where your hand marries into it and it's a second thought as far as gripping the blade, and you're actually more comfortable with actually using the blade, if that makes any sense. Now, the PPS version, which is the budget version, excuse me, I'm still not as hydrated as I should be, has a reinforced Zytel handle, glass reinforced, and here it comes. For you laymen's out there, that's a hard plastic. Now, don't get me wrong, plastic, it gets a bad rap. Plastic's going to outlive humans, and it's probably going to outlast the dinosaurs, and it's definitely going to outlast any metal that's out there. So plastic gets a bad rap. But anyway, a reinforced, glass reinforced Zytel handle and an aluminum handle with a textured insert. And I believe this is also Zytel. So aluminum Zytel and full Zytel handle. Now, the liner lock, or the partial liner lock that it has in here, you can see it goes down. I've heard some say that it's thin, but for what this blade is used for, which is moderate cutting, EDC type boxes, things of that nature, I don't see anybody going into drywall with this. It's sufficient, especially the way it locks up for both of them. It's a beautiful setting. All credit due to Ken Onion. Mahalo. Now, what can I add to this that hasn't been said before? Nitride finish on the more expensive version. These run anywhere from $55 to $60. These run anywhere from $35 to $40. The PPS version. This has a Nitride finish, Osage steel. This has a Bead-Blast finish, Osage steel. The liner lock is made of something called 420J2 steel, and that's on both of them. The more expensive version and the less expensive version. So, hollow ground. Without getting too ahead of myself, let me get right into my likes of this blade. It opens lightning fast, both versions. The jimping is aggressive to the point of pain in either direction, and I'm going to get to that in a second. The way it feels and the sharpness of it, which is due to that mirror finish on that edge, look at that, it's beautiful. It makes this a cutting machine. Now the stats on both of these say they comes in at 4.1 ounces. And I want to be honest with you, they both feel lighter in hand to me. It has that classic Ken Onion style pocket clip, which is to me kind of like a banana. And only one option for either the PPS version or the aluminum handle version, and that is tip down carry only. Lefties, once again, you got screwed. So, what can I add that I have not already heard or seen before about these blades that have been reviewed to death? The jimping. Now, I don't know if you can make this out on the camera. I'll try to get in there for you with some light. You can see there are raised ridges, pillars actually, on either side of the handle. And the way they come in, they don't come in like this or like this. They actually are parallel to each other, which makes going forward and backwards the same. You get the same amount of traction. Now, here's where the macho in me is going to have to take a little back step. I found when I open this blade, it digs into my finger. And if I had to open it fast, it kind of gives in some pain. Now, I don't have soft hands. And that's for both of these. And on the aluminum version, I actually found that the colder it gets, or the longer this blade is out in a cold environment, it stiffens up, it locks up. I mean, it gets a little stiff when I try to open it. So I have to actually give it a little more force than I actually have to on the PPS version. Now I've carried these both for about a month. And I kind of wish that they either went forward or backward with the ridges, with the jimping, to avoid that sharpness that you get when you snap it open. But that's minor. But I would like to hear some input from some of you guys out there on what kind of damage this may have done to your fingers. But once again, that's minor for a beautifully designed knife. So do I recommend these blades? Yes. Do I recommend one over the other? Actually, yes. Since this one, the cold weather seemed to have affects it from time to time when I'm out with it. I don't want to have a blade that might actually make me have to double tap it to get it open. So considering this one is about $15 to $20 cheaper, pretty much the same materials in the blade itself. The handle is just slightly different. I mean, you got aluminum here and you got full Zytel or plastic handle here. The weight is the same. The design features are pretty much the same. I would go with the PPS. Or if you're like me and you're a glutton for punishment and you love steel, get them both. So this is JMC3 with my input or my take on the Shenanigan, the CRKT Columbia River Knife and Tool Ken Onion Design Shenanigan. Wish all you guys have a great weekend. Go Giants.